The college football experience conference championship week reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WinBet. WinBet's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same game parlays to live in-game odds, WinBet is what you need to win. Sign up today. Bet $100. Get $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
Hey, it's Scooby right here, aka Shark Dog, listening to SGP and let it ride.
Welcome to the college football experience conference championship reaction show. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Oh yeah, buddy. Oh yeah. It's college football season. And normally right around this point in the college football season, well, let's just introduce, but we're at the beauty pageant part of college football.
Yeah.
Saw contestant number 1 at the halftime.
That's right.
Yeah, Miss Alabama. Miss Alabama was speaking on behalf of the beauty parlor, lobbying to win the pageant. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi. Well, give me some tunes.
Let's end the 4-team invitational.
What do we got?
Let's have qualifiers for all 10 conferences.
Amen.
We have dreams.
What we got? 2 years, one more year of this nonsense,
Yeah,
or
but
is
we
it
still don't have automatic qualifiers for 10 conferences.
Yeah.
You realize the beauty pageant continues.
six is a good start. 10 would be better.
The beauty pageant will continue.
That's what they should do when they expand to 16 teams in a few years, right? The 4 new teams that they add should be the 4 remaining conference champs.
You remember?
Easy
Do you
peasy.
remember like Miss South Carolina a few years ago when she when I say a few, it's probably like a decade
and such.
Yeah, well, remember they asked her about like she said like feeding the homeless,
Yeah.
and she took it to like
Africa
Iraq or something
Iraq,
like.
yeah.
We got to feed the homeless, and then and if Iraq happened, we should feed the homeless or some shit like that. She did just. You should YouTube that video.
She's the best. She's the best. But you know what? She was still hot as shit. I would still wife her.
Hang on, because I'm going to make a comparison between that and Nick Saban today, talking about when he brings up the fact that Bryce Young was dinged up some of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like Quinn Ewers didn't happen to get injured in the Texas Alabama game. Patty C. No.
Yeah. Apparently that only counts when it's against or when it's in Alabama's favor.
Didn't happen. Max Duggan was dinged up some. Kansas State lost both quarterbacks. Should we take that loss off the books?
That's right. We
we can go on.
Max Duggan was tired at the end of this game today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can go on if you want to. Let's look at other players perhaps that were missed. You know what I mean? We can go roster by roster and just. I think we can probably do all 131.
I mean, TCU's been on their backup quarterback all year.
Yeah, Chandler Morris is injured. Yep. How's TCU doing with their backup quarterback? Yeah, Chandler Morris started the season, got injured at Colorado. Max Duggan came in. Boom.
Or at TCU, rather.
What did I say?
Oh, when they were playing at Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams was injured yesterday, Patty C.
Yeah, exactly.
Up. Got to put him in.
By the way, I saw people saying he
Jalen
looked like
Daniels,
a pussy. He was playing like a beast.
Yeah,
he still deserves the Heisman.
definitely.
Yeah.
Jalen Daniels, Kansas was undefeated.
Yep.
Shout out to Noah Beanick in the chat. Just give him the natty nowlet.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Injuries, they apparently only
They only matter at Alabama.
That's right.
Only matter. In fact, I mean, why is there only one coach who's giving him what the fuck?
Right.
Like, what gives him the privilege
of having the platform of the halftime, the entirety of the halftime on the final moment that people are watching college football? You know, it would be one thing if you had him. Who else?
Willie Fritz.
Willie Fritz.
Josh Heupel.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go one by one. Sonny Dykes.
Right.
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. Put them all on.
Yeah.
Give them
all on. Give them 1
minutes.
minute. It'd be like a fucking. It's like the preliminaries.
Bikini contest.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, we're here, Patty C. The weekend was fun watching football. I couldn't help but notice the FCS games today were awesome. If you watched the game up in Sacramento in the rain.
Oh man.
I saw the rain in the Holy Cross game, saw some snow on the ground in the Montana State game. And it made me realize the FCS product is a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually have home games. There's no
100%.
beauty. Not much of a beauty pageant over there.
100%. I wish there were more brand names with which people were familiar with so that people would, say, oh, you know what? That was actually awesome to watch. You know, it's unfortunate. The biggest brand name in the FCS plays in a dome.
Yeah.
And
North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that might change. They did put it on Montana today, but
shout out to the chat moving along here. Luck Stops here. Scott Bowser. Check out the Zed Run Gambling Podcast. Yeah, you might see a horse named the College Experience, baby. All right. We're picking winners in the digital world. All right. Watch out, Tron. We'll fuck you up. All right. Let's just start with Friday's action, Patty C. UTSA. How about my boys?
Handling business.
I took the points with North Texas too. I ate shit on that one. But UTSA got that dub, the Roadrunners. I'm excited to see the Roadrunners in the AAC facing off against ECU, but they gotta get that stadium on campus.
Stat line.
He's back next year too.
32 at 37, 341 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He had almost as many touchdowns as incompletions.
Here's the thing: I wonder, will he get I wonder about all the there's no police in college athletics right now. Basketball, football, it doesn't matter. There's no police, right? There's too many teams. The NCAA's got 12 people working on it, and my question is will Frank Harris get poached? I know they're going to try.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. I thought he would have got poached last season. Maybe he's committed to UTSA. He's got one more year left. Dude, he's like a top 15 quarterback.
Yeah. You would figure Power Fives will be coming calling.
Yeah.
He's
definitely going to be
Notre Dame,
Texas A&M starting quarterback, right?
Yeah.
What'd you make of, how about they've only lost one game in CUSA play in 2 years. And even with that, it was a game where they rested their starters.
People calling for them to get the New Year's 6 Cotton Bowl bid. I think Tulane, definitely proved their point and secured that. Yeah. But it's not to say that UTSA might not be deserving. And like you said, 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Pretty darn impressive.
See the chat moving along. Shout out to Alex Crouch, man. Haven't heard from you in a while, brother. Hope all is well. There we go. Judge Dredd. Angel First Blood on me, even though that's not Dredd, but same guy. It counts. Patty C, USC lost. We know that.
What a shellacking they took in the second half. Talk about the exact, and that's the irony of this is USC went up early, like Ohio State did. They came out right away, boom, 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 and it was USC is going to win this. They have a high-powered passing attack, and then over the course of the game, especially in the second half, they collapsed. They got crushed, just like Ohio State the week before, right? We don't know how much better Michigan is actually than Utah because Utah played a much tougher schedule than Michigan.
Well, and I can tell you this, Utah's a hell of a lot better than Purdue.
Right. But Michigan, we're talking about, I guess my point is USC's loss to Utah resembles Ohio State's loss to
no. It wasn't. It wasn't in Los Angeles.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it's in some ways USC's lost to Utah.
If it's up to me, USC's in over Ohio State. No brainer. You played an extra game. No, I mean they're not going to do that because they're a bunch of fucking suits that are just going to sit.
But no,
there.
I get. After 12 games, if you're ahead of the other team,
like USC wasn't dominant performance. They lost. They didn't have any game control. Meanwhile, what was the game control like for Ohio State this weekend? You fucking losers.
I mean, that really should be it. It's like if after 12 weeks you are not playing football, then you are judged up against the other teams for the first 12 weeks. And then if you have to go to a 13th week to decide between two teams, then you make that distinction based on that 13th data point.
USC should have canceled the game. They should have pulled a classic. Look, the Big Ten knows about canceling important games.
Yeah.
All right. We saw this during COVID. All right. Oh, Ohio State, Michigan. No, we're just going to cancel this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cincinnati did it with what?
Just going to cancel with Tulsa.
Yeah.
I mean, look, USC, they should have just canceled the game because the system is not going to let them to. But I will say this, and I think me and NC Nick were texting about this. NC Nick said we were texting this morning. He's like, Clemson should be in over USC, and I said, I think you're right. Even though I think USC would beat Clemson.
Yeah.
I think because they did win their conference championship and they only have 2 losses. But then I said, wait a second. I think the AAC is better than the ACC this year. And I think
shouldn't Tulane be in?
Well, I think Tulane should be in over Clemson because Tulane has a win at Kansas State, the Big 12's champion. And I think the Big 12 was the best conference in college football this year.
Oh, you can definitely make that. I mean, obviously their loss is probably the worst of anyone in the top 10 to Southern Miss.
Southern Miss is a bowl team.
Sure.
I don't think there's a big gap between, you could name a few. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Southern Miss beat Notre Dame.
Yeah. I mean, Marshall did.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that's a, like Clemson lost to Notre Dame.
Clemson got annihilated by Notre Dame.
Or South Carolina. Shit. I think Southern Miss could probably play South Carolina close.
It's true.
You can go. I don't know where Utah will end up, but they lost to Florida. I think Southern Miss is on the level of Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think all of those teams, Tulane, Clemson, I think USC is better than both of those, but Tulane and Clemson are comparable, I would say, in terms of what they're capable of doing, which would probably be.
I'm just saying, if you're looking, I don't give a shit about like forecasting it, but like looking at the resume, what is the best win in the top 10? I think one of the best ones would be, or within the top 25 would be Tulane at Kansas State, because Kansas State was number 10 today and they're only going to move up.
Yeah. I mean, how many teams beat Power 5 conference champs that are in that conversation? Georgia did not. They beat Oregon, which was a nice win.
But it wasn't on the road.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm saying, like, what's the most impressive wins?
Kansas State, did they beat a conference champ?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Clemson, did they beat a conference champ?
No.
Michigan, did they beat a conference champ?
No.
And then who am I forgetting anyone?
So Tulane is the only
team that beat a Power 5 conference champ has that data point on their resume.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. Worth considering, and they did it on the road.
But I mean, you agree. I'm curious, like, to me, like, I know they're going to put Ohio State in, which is just fucking, it really makes last week's game irrelevant.
But the regular season is the playoff in college football.
Yeah. Apparently this regular season, such a animated game there, such a high stakes game,
a high stakes game. Such a playoff it is that they're going to give Saban after his 2 regular season losses and his
wait. So Alabama, Tennessee, irrelevant. Yeah. Why do we watch that game?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Alabama's ranked ahead of Tennessee.
Who cares?
We're all just rehashing all the points you guys already know, but it is disgusting. And look, we're 2 years away from a playoff. So anyway, let's talk more about these games. What else happened? Let's get to today.
Can we give Kyle Whittingham some respect though?
Yeah. I mean, 2 years in a row.
Great adjustments. They were getting burned in the first half. Now I know Caleb Williams got injured, and Caleb still deserves the Heisman.
Yeah. He is nasty, but they got punished. They just aren't physical, and that's kind of exactly what we expected from Lincoln Riley when he came over.
Well, he didn't have the guys. Like he went for the portal offensive guys, defense all year. I mean, Cal looked good on offense against them.
But I want to look at his defensive stats as a coach at Oklahoma. I feel like they weren't
But they were getting better.
They were getting
Grinch.
better.
I feel like the final 2 years in Oklahoma, they were starting to show some
Yeah,
signs
that's
of
true.
life.
Grinch had improved. They got up into like the 20s defensively, whereas before they were like way back in the 90s or something.
Patty C. But Whittingham, where would you rank him in as far as like best college football coaches? Because by the way, and I couldn't help but think about this, and I tweeted this out. We saw TCU. So Friday night, I'm watching Utah win the Pac-12 championship, and I'm like, man, TCU is playing for the Big 12 championship. These two teams were in the Mountain West. What would Boise State be like had they got that pass to come up as well?
That's
you
true.
know what I mean? Like, Boise was
if Peterson would have stayed.
Well, I think he would have stayed if they would have
been a Power 5. Yeah, had access.
They would have got that.
If they didn't go undefeated twice without any consideration for the national championship.
No. He didn't.
No.
They didn't interview him at halftime.
Yeah,
interesting. Patty C. And then today's action: Toledo, the Rockets. They got it done. First MAC championship in 5 years, I believe.
Boom.
Jason Candle
polishing that resume up.
Got that MAC championship.
But Cincinnati's apparently not looking at him right now, right? I think he's off their radar.
Actually, so Ohio State did beat a conference champion.
Who was that?
Toledo.
Oh. Okay. But no Power 5 conference.
Win is a win is a win.
Hey, let's be fair.
Kansas State beats TCU. I mean, I hope you I hope you listened longer than this week, because your boy picked Dundee. Had a sweet old ticket for the K-State Wildcats plus 1,200. Oh man, do I know the Big 12? You smashed that with my Kansas lock, and you're sitting there dancing around in Kansas money. All right,
impressive.
Fucking, you should be wealthier than the Koch brothers right now. They're from Kansas, right?
Colby does Kansas football.
There we go.
Whether
That's
it
what
be
I
Kansas
do.
or Kansas State.
Wichita State, bring the football program back. Bill Parcells is part of your alumni base. Come on.
What do you call a person from Kansas? Are they all Jayhawks, much like people from Indiana are Hoosiers, or is that just the school's nickname?
No. Don't offend Alex in the chat. He's a Wildcat.
Look, I'm not trying to offend Wildcats, but I feel like that might be like the actual nickname of a person from Kansas. I could be completely full of shit.
I think you are.
Okay.
But I have no idea. I have been to Kansas. I have.
Either way, you are both.
I enjoy my time in Kansas.
You are a man of the Kansas people.
Well, I mean, we give you all this shit. Look, I had North Carolina to win the Coastal plus 700. If you took that, believe it or not, I nailed the ACC championship. I had Clemson beating North Carolina in the ACC championship. Boom.
Not bad.
Now, I was wrong on the Big Ten, but I did have Michigan winning the Big Ten East. That cashed. Now, I had them playing Minnesota. It was Purdue. NC Nick was on Purdue.
Pretty darn close, though.
I had Baylor against Kansas State, but Kansas State winning the Big 12 championship. So a little bit right. Now
Baylor out of respect.
I want to say I had Utah and I don't know. It wasn't USC.
Washington, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't USC. I don't think. So I did eat shit there. But
did you have Utah
SEC,
winning it, or did you have USC winning it?
No, I didn't have USC in there.
Oh, you did. Oh,
I had like Oregon State, Utah, or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I had Utah winning it though. I think I had Utah. I got to double check that one.
Well,
I didn't actually purchase a ticket on that one.
Yeah.
But SEC, I had Georgia, Bama. It was Georgia, LSU. Pretty fucking fire here though.
What was LSU's final record? 4-8.
What?
Or not LSU? A&M.
5
and 7.
They had the JFK Bowl to get an extra little dub there. But
they kind of dressed that up, A&M, at the end of the year there.
What do you make of Kansas State? This is like, to me, a team that I would love to see in the big playoff, because I think Kansas, like I mentioned this with Utah too yesterday. I texted you this. I said, dude, I think Utah could beat Michigan.
Yeah, dude. At this point, in this season in particular, Georgia still looks like
the one clear cut better than everyone else.
Yeah,
but,
and they were putting it on LSU, but again, LSU lost to A&M last week, and there were times when LSU looked. I mean, putting 30 up on Georgia, if they could have stopped Georgia a couple times or not had those freak touchdowns, then that game might have been actually a little bit close. So I don't even think Georgia's as dominant as they were last year. I think they can be beaten. I
think you have to get up early on Georgia, because then you make Stetson Bennett one-dimensional. But Georgia looked fantastic today. Obviously, that kick, the block kick, was a huge play to get up early and get that lead early. Patty C. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Jerry Kill in New Mexico State, because guess what? They're bowling, baby.
New Mexico State, boom.
UConn and New Mexico State.
Did you call them bowling at the beginning of the year?
I did. I said they could. I thought 5 wins was more realistic.
We gotta get in there and chop up some clips. Have Noah get up in there and chop up some clips and see what came right for us.
Patty C. Coastal Carolina got absolutely waxed against Troy.
Is
Jamie Chadwell out the door?
Gotta be. I mean, how important is Grayson McCall? But he was playing today.
But he didn't look healthy.
Yeah,
he didn't look healthy. Big Bird could be back next year though.
Yeah.
Hold on. We didn't talk about TCU enough. TCU's got to be in.
TCU should definitely be in.
Any fucking idiot out there saying Alabama deserves to be in over TCU.
I mean, TCU, when you look at the head-to-head with Texas, both on the road at Texas, identical kind of setup there.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers was in the whole game for Texas against TCU, but not for Alabama. So, TCU, you could say, had a harder.
I mean, TCU's played 11 Power Fives. Michigan's only played 10.
Yeah, that's also a fact.
Also, they're outside of that. They play at SMU. A bowl team, might I add. Michigan didn't play anywhere.
Michigan, comparing TCU to Michigan is irrelevant, kind of, just because. I mean, obviously, it factors in how the season played out, probably, but Michigan's in. We should be comparing them to Ohio State, but ultimately, you got to figure TCU is.
Well, no,
really, it's TCU and Alabama that are being.
Well, my
compared.
case would be like, couldn't you argue that if they played another Power Five, just like they're doing with Ohio State, they're letting Ohio State in essentially over USC, because USC has 2 losses, but USC played another game. Well, TCU played another game against a Power Five that Michigan and Georgia didn't play.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
that's got to mean something. I understand they have a loss,
right?
But what if Georgia and Michigan played another Power Five? They might have a loss.
Right. A data point that gets taken into consideration.
Yeah. What if they went on the road to the Group of 5 team? Right. Then they might have another loss.
And like we've said a million times before, it's not only that singular game that is, the data point that should be taken into consideration. It's the effect that has on the team and on the season in terms of mental preparation. And football is very much about being able to manage your emotions from week to week.
If TCU is not in this playoff, I will not be watching.
Yeah.
I will not be watching.
Yeah.
The Big 12 is the best conference this year.
A 12-0 regular season followed by an overtime loss to a top 10 team that you already beat during the season.
I will not be watching.
Yeah. We'll boycott.
I will not be watching the invitational.
We'll cover the bowls.
Yeah. I'll do anything.
We won't cover the New Year's 6.
LSU looked like shit today. Patty C, is Georgia going to win the back-to-back championships?
I would have to say they're the best team. If I was to,
if they get Ohio State though, and I mentioned this last year, had they gotten Ohio State, I think it would have been interesting.
Well, Jackson Smith and Jigba in a dome,
yeah.
When the weather conditions are perfect and Ohio State has all their weapons, guess what? They might be able to get up early on Georgia and put Stetson Bennett in that position you talk about. They could do it. They could definitely do it.
How about shout out to Jeff Tedford, Fresno State 28, Boise State 16 on the Smurf turf. This is the second time he's won a Mountain West championship. Remember, he left for a couple of years. It's the second time he's won a Mountain West championship in Boise against Boise State in the past 5 years.
Going on to that Smurf turf, he is not intimidated.
Dude, honestly, they would have been a lot better. And this is another thing let's bring up. For comparing USC and Ohio State or USC, like USC, Ohio State didn't play in FCS. I was going to say, well, even if you're going to argue TCU and USC out of conference played Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And TCU played Colorado out of conference.
Sure. That's a feather.
And then USC did not play an FCS. TCU did.
Okay.
And then USC's other opponents are bowl teams and conference champions. Rice is in a bowl. Fresno State just won the Mountain West.
Yeah.
I would say their resume, this is why it's just so stupid. You can sit there and just a stupid setup. 4 teams out of 131 is the dumbest fucking idea, maybe in the history of this planet. All right.
I mean, to the people that believe that the beauty pageant is, good for the sport and the debate about who deserves to get in is what, ultimately ignites interest in the sport. Bullshit. People are jacked up about all sorts of sports that, the NFL is super interesting. The NFL playoffs are amazing. Regardless of how many teams are getting in, it's a tournament, the NCAA tournament, 64 teams, amazing.
68, buddy.
68 teams, amazing. You don't need that to generate the interest. And guess what? When you have college and you have football, there's going to be interest no matter what. And so don't say it's, this beauty pageant that creates the interest. It's the game of football and it's college. That
couldn't
interest.
we make the case for Tulane because they beat the team that they lost to? So Tulane only has one team on their schedule they haven't beat.
Tulane, who they beat.
Well, I guess USC could say the same. It's Utah.
Yeah, but Tulane did beat the team that they lost to. Let's talk about Michael Pratt. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Willie Fritz, taking the green wave to their first major bowl and since 1939, I think I read.
Unbelievable, doing big things. 199 rushing yards for Tyjae Spears. Big statistical.
He's a fucking beast, dude.
Yeah.
You see a couple of those runs, he's a fucking beast.
Did he get dinged? I thought I saw him.
I don't know. We had so many games on. We had the FCS playoffs rocking.
Yeah.
We had the college basketball rocking.
That'll be a fun Cotton Bowl, even though it should be a playoff game.
What's that?
Tulane versus USC. That's
sure.
If USC decides their players are going to play.
Caleb Williams probably won't play.
Yeah.
We already know Will Levis isn't playing in whatever bowl game.
And people will write it off completely if Tulane's able to pull the upset.
Yeah. You know how it works.
USC didn't want to.
You know how it works. It's all fixed.
Yeah.
Clemson 39, North Carolina 10. Hey, should Clemson be in the playoff, Petty C? I think Clemson deserves to be in over Ohio State.
Conference champ, 2 losses. They do have a common opponent that definitely favors Ohio State.
Yeah, but they played 13 games.
It's true. I mean, they've already demonstrated that a 2-loss conference champ.
And I think it's a lot easier to get the coach on his first game than say his 8th or 9th.
That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Ohio State did catch Notre Dame at a better point than Clemson did. And the game was in Columbus and not South Bend.
No, D Bettis, this is all I'm saying, man. I think Ohio State would beat Clemson. But I hate saying I think. One team is in a conference championship and they won. As far as I'm concerned, if you're not playing in a conference championship, you should be eliminated. You should be fucking eliminated and have 0 chance of making the invitational. You should not benefit because how about
in
this?
A 14 playoff? You're saying.
Yes. You should not be able to benefit. Perfect example is the Pac-12 gets rid of the divisions, right?
Yeah.
They would be playing Washington. Instead, they get Utah. Utah's been a lot better than Washington of late. I mean, maybe Washington could have beat them. Who knows? But my point is, we didn't get to see Ohio State, Michigan again. We saw Purdue and Michigan. So
yeah,
they get rewarded for finishing in second. If I was the coach, in a way, you almost would rather finish in second.
Yeah, and you're right. Moving forward, they have no incentive to put Ohio or get rid of divisions because that will mean Ohio State and Michigan have to play twice every year. And that will mean Ohio State or Michigan, whoever loses, will probably take on 2 losses.
I just don't understand the point of the whole fucking season. That's all I'm saying, man. Obviously, I would take Ohio State to beat Clemson on a neutral fucking site, but that's irrelevant. What I think. It's irrelevant what I think because if we're gonna say this, someone could say, well, I don't know. I think Navy might be able to beat Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about like the real motivation to expand to 4 in the first place. It was when you have undefeated teams, 3 different undefeated teams from different conferences who haven't had the opportunity to play, and you have to choose 2 of them to play in the playoff. Then you say, okay, one team is definitely getting screwed, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to expand this to 4. If you are taking 2 teams from the same conference at the expense of another team that has the same resume, that hasn't played the same competition, it's like Ohio State and Michigan already played. We know who's better. That game happened on the field.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need to see Ohio State get that chance again. If the regular season is supposed to be the playoff, then make it the fucking playoff. You know,
you can't have both.
Yeah,
right. You can't have both. I get it. D-Betta says I can name 4 teams in the Big Ten that can win the ACC. You're probably right. But that's irrelevant. I mean, you want my honest opinion? I think the Big Ten is the second worst Power 5 conference. I think the best conference this year is the Big 12. I think the second best is the SEC, and I think the third best is the Pac-12.
Yeah, and there's a chance here we get 2 Big Ten and 2 SEC teams in.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Completely like throwing away.
They're only doing that because of the power within the conferences that they hold.
Yeah,
like I mean, what I believe that coming into this last week, and I don't trust any rankings. I think it's all fucking jaded, but I believe the Pac-12 had the most teams ranked.
Yeah,
so.
But, you know, they don't have the biggest fan bases. They don't have the most money. They're not going to make their networks the most money.
Their network's available in Kazakhstan.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I agree, D-Bettis. The ACC sucks. But at the same time,
Clemson does not deserve to be in a 14 playoff, but neither does Ohio State.
Yeah. Clemson, in my opinion, Clemson deserves it more than Ohio State because they've played more games.
Yeah,
and they won they
won their conference championship. Yeah. I mean, and really, that's what it should be. It should be, you know, in the absence of a definitive answer.
Because what the hell are we doing then? What's the point of playing the fucking conference championships?
Yeah, what's the point of playing the regular?
Clearly, there is no point in playing them. We learned this weekend. Just like we learned there's no point in the regular season matchups in a lot of situations.
Right. You're making that decision on paper. You're saying Clemson isn't as good as Ohio State. You know, we have no head-to-head contest to prove that. We have some data that we think points to that, but fuck it. Like we're not, but we know Michigan's better than Ohio State because we have the head-to-head, but let's make them play again so we could see it again.
And let's also give Ohio State their first away game on Halloween weekend.
Right.
That had nothing to do with it. I'm sure that Nick Saban. What was his? What did he say in the interview today? One of the first things. Well, we played 5 away games. Oh, hey,
welcome.
How many teams do that every fucking year? All right. Jeez, I'm gonna vomit. Patty C. Michigan wins 43-22. You know, I took Purdue in the points. I actually really thought that was like one of my favorite plays of the weekend. So I ate shit there. But I'll say this, man.
We were hoping Harbaugh would down it.
Michigan was bitches with the way they scheduled, and they deserve to be doctored, penalized. All right. Doesn't matter. That they can't get the 1 seed, in my opinion, because that conference schedule
was so trash.
But I do love what Jim Harbaugh is doing.
I mean, the 2 really good teams they played this year, Ohio State and Penn State, they did light them up in the second half.
Where would you put Purdue? Are they the third best team? Because they did win the Big Ten West, but if we're going by the theory with again, are we talking about most deserving to play in like a 12-team playoff, or are we talking about best teams? You think didn't Purdue beat Illinois, or did Illinois beat Purdue? I can't remember. I think Purdue beat Illinois, right? They went into Champagne and whooped them up.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna be man of our word there, then we're gonna say Purdue is more deserving to get a playoff spot there.
Yeah. But I do love what Harbaugh's doing, man. He's bringing football back to the essence. I love it.
We were listening to a podcast earlier that was talking about how he basically went through the process when he was at Stanford and really even at
the Niners.
The Niners, they were just smash mouth football. He was running old school football,
even at San Diego, bro.
Yeah. And he hadn't adapted and put speed. I mean, like Toby Gerhart, they were just a battering ram was their approach to the offense. Obviously, with Andrew Luck, like he was able to run a super efficient pro style offense because he had a generational quarterback at his disposal. Yeah. But you put him back with like Jake Rudock at quarterback, and they are just a smash mouth football team without. They're basically fucking Iowa, with a little speed on the edges. But he brought in he brought in Gaddis. They went too far in that direction, and then. He finally has fine-tuned it to the point where he has a little of the modern stuff, a lot of the old school stuff, and he's at the peak of his profession right now, along with the Sabans and whatnot. Yeah. Is he going to be able to sustain that moving forward?
Wouldn't just a 12 team be, I mean, would just be so awesome because I would love to see Utah and Kansas State get their shots against Michigan or some of these other schools.
I mean, again, Michigan played two hard games. They got Penn State at home, so they played one hard game on the road, and they dominated Ohio State in the second half.
I'll even give them the Illini game.
That was not impressive.
Oh yeah, but they won.
They won, but they were down with 1 second left,
and those refs were atrocious. But I'll still say, some games be like that.
And that was a home game.
Yeah,
they could definitely lose to Utah.
Okay, so Patty C, tomorrow when they do the 4-team invitational nonsense, who will be the 4 teams?
I have to believe that TCU is going to be in there. If, like we said, if it's Alabama, if TCU is not in there, then I'm done. I'm checking out. But yeah, I would assume it actually stays the same.
I mean, I'm going to be furious if Ohio State's in there. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a slap in USC's
It's almost
face.
like they should lose that game on purpose.
What do you mean? So we don't have to prove it in the Big Ten championship game.
It's the same with Bama. Bama would have lost to Georgia.
That's true because that's what TCU did. If TCU had found a way to, but they won't get the Ohio State love.
A few years in 2014, TCU didn't have a Big 12 championship. Remember, the Big 12 didn't have one.
Yeah,
but they penalized them for not having the 13th game. But wait. Let me get this straight. Now you
penalize them for having the 13th game.
Now you're penalized for having the 13th game, but you're rewarding Ohio State for not having the 13th game. Does that make any fucking sense?
Oh, how the tables turn.
Oh my God. I need a, it's just, so who's your 4?
It's the same as it was.
What's the matchups?
I mean, aside from USC, Ohio State, they won't put Michigan, Ohio State in it. I think it's in the verbiage of
it'll be Georgia, Ohio State,
and Michigan, TCU. Yeah, I think they want to avoid rematches, especially in the first round of the small tournament, invitational, what have you. So, almost certainly, I would think Georgia hosting Ohio State essentially in the Peach Bowl, and then Michigan and TCU both traveling over to the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah, you agree?
Probably that's what they'll do. I still think they could put Bama in. We just saw Nick Saban.
That's
why
what
the fuck are they
on Fox
interviewing
right now? Yeah.
Why are they interviewing Saban? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, pretty relevant coach, obviously. But in the context that he is stumping for his team,
interview him in a month.
Right?
Why does it got to be tonight?
Yeah.
Makes
ridiculous.
No fucking sense.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Deion Sanders is the coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, Patty said.
Woo. Talk about you think the overall impact of that, both on Colorado and the Pac-12 and in college football in general. You have shared your thoughts with me, so let's get them out to the public here.
I mean, I think it's the biggest news to hit college football in a year since Lincoln Riley going to USC or maybe USC going to the Big Ten. But I think this is catastrophic
for USC.
For college football,
or
for
catastrophic or monumental. Yeah, I don't think it ruins college football.
Well, I mean, I think it's monumental for the Pac-12.
Yeah,
monumental for the Pac-12 because I think they are sustainable now. Yeah, I truly believe Deion Sanders is going to hit the portal. Colorado actually, one thing I read an article they got a new president who went all in on football. They gave him big money,
supposedly
compared to what they were paying before, right? And not only that, they went
on big money.
Yeah, and not only that, they went and changed their rules to get transfers in. So this is something that they had not been doing ever. You know what I mean? Like that to me is a significant step in the right direction. And
getting modern Colorado.
And when you get someone who has that type of
magnetism,
I think they're gonna be as talented as some of the most talented teams in the country.
Yeah.
Right.
How many years till they get to that point?
Well, I think, I know some people were saying like, they'll be like USC next year. Now I don't mean USC is in like them about to be on the verge of playing in the playoff.
Yeah. But I think in terms of like the transfer portal impact it'll have right away.
Yeah.
I think it might take a year. I think it would be tough to project him being able to just pull,
if he's bringing
Heisman and
Travis Hunter with him.
But that doesn't really count. That's his own guy already.
Yeah, but from what I read, he's bringing 7 guys from Jackson State.
You want. I mean, I guess Lincoln Riley brought Caleb Williams with him, so it is kind of the
Mario
same.
Williams too, the wide receiver.
Yeah,
number one wide receiver recruit in the nation, right?
That's true. Who is Lincoln Riley's biggest pull? Well, I guess he got
Jordan Addison, Jerry Rice's son from Colorado.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's
if
a
Deion
lot.
can do some
Travis
of that.
Dye. Yeah, I mean, you can go on and on and on.
Do you think Deion will have that kind of impact?
Definitely.
Year one.
As far not in the Pac-12 playoff or not like in the Pac-12 championship, but as
in
far
the transfer portal,
yes.
you think right away he's going to be pulling all
100%.
conference players from other conferences
I believe so.
onto his team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I just think it might take another year, but I certainly think. I mean, obviously the news we saw with Ohio State, number 1 wide receiver in the country.
Yeah,
you were
might be going to Colorado. I mean, there's him and Deion Sanders. I think that it's a game changer. But I also think it's a game changer for several reasons. I don't even know how good Deion is from an X's and O's standpoint. We're going to find out.
Right.
But TV rating wise, let's be honest. We found out college football, unfortunately, is driven by the TV numbers. Well, I think Colorado all of a sudden becomes super sustainable from a viewing standpoint. They're a national, even if they're like 8-4 or 7-5 next year.
Yeah.
People are going to want to watch that.
Yeah.
And to me, that is way more valuable than a national champ for the Pac-12. It's even more valuable than them winning a national championship.
Yeah.
It's going
You're just basically taking
or the Big 12. If Colorado ends up in the Big 12, but I think right now though, if you're George Clavicle, if you're sitting there saying, oh yeah, because we know Oregon and Washington draw good numbers, Colorado is going to be.
Yeah. Colorado all of a sudden becomes a player. And one of your weakest points at the moment becomes one of your strongest points.
Yeah.
We were talking about, I thought Oregon would be a similar comparison as to, the star power that Deion Sanders might bring to Colorado. And we talked about it. We've been arguing on Twitter. That used to be a very
20 years of football from 85 to 2005.
A very attractive program.
3 losing seasons, multiple years leading the NFL in draft picks.
Yeah. And
to me, if they're ready to go back in on football, then I think they could be very, very, another thing is the Broncos are trash right now. The whole state, I think, could get behind the Buffs, especially Deion.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's going to be able to recruit
all to themselves.
He's going to be able to recruit Florida, Texas, and California. And that's what another thing that's interesting is that you have Lincoln Riley and Chip Kelly leaving. They have 1 year. And then they're gone to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
You got a pretty easy path to the playoff. If there's an automatic qualifier.
I mean, he is going to be the recruiting force along with Oregon.
I mean, I get you still got to beat Kyle Whittingham, and Whittingham's always going to be, but he is like 63 years old, Kyle Whittingham.
Sure. I mean, there was talk that he might retire after the Rose Bowl this year. So I don't think he should.
I don't think he should either.
Is Rising coming back next year?
I think so. I mean, yeah, he's eligible to.
If he comes back and they're hosting Florida, he should definitely stay another year.
But my point is that if you are going to bring in this much talent from a talent perspective, I think Deion Sanders can at least be as talented as Oregon, if not more.
Yeah. I mean, certainly is more talented than TCU is. And we see where TCU is.
Yeah.
And the Pac-12 after USC and really UCLA doesn't make any difference, but after USC is going to have a similar talent ceiling as the Big 12. And
but I just think in general, like I was talking to my buddy today, or no, not today, yesterday. And he is a Penn State fan.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, dude, Deion's going to be must watch. He goes, I'm not even a Colorado fan, but I can't wait to watch them next year. Everyone's going to be thinking like that, dude. Everyone's going to be thinking like that. It's going to be like America's team. That's what I'm saying. So I expect their ratings to fucking destroy it.
Imagine, I mean, Colorado, the Rocky Mountains, they are the Florida State of the Rocky Mountains. They were the Florida State of the Rocky Mountains in the 90s. And prime
80s and 90s.
Yeah. And prime time is going to bring that swag back, and it's going to be cold weather, hard hitting swag.
But dude, tell me that's not
speed.
I don't even know if he'll ever like X's and O's wise, if he'll be good enough to get them a national championship. But in general, I think we'll have national championship style talent.
Yeah. Which according to you, doesn't mean much, but I think you'll be forced to,
well, I mean, I'll tell you this.
Acknowledge the importance of talent.
I found it ironic that I saw Brendan Rice making big plays for USC. I saw Mekhi Blackman making big plays for USC. Today, Mark Perry, the safety of TCU, made a big play.
Yeah.
These were guys that were all on Colorado last year, man. So like I watched this team get raided last year.
Yeah.
So I did see Colorado, who didn't have a lot of talent, but yet that talent is playing on teams that were playing for fucking championships.
Yeah, that's true. Well, shit, you just said earlier, JMU had 10 all conference players that were obviously recruited to play at the FCS level.
Yeah.
And now they're all conference in the Sun Belt. Several of them were walk-ons at the FCS level.
I mean, how many times do we have to mention this? Miami and Texas A&M. Now, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating to watch because Kyle Whittingham is, and a lot of the other coaches, Kalen DeBauer, Jonathan Smith, obviously Lincoln Riley and Chip Kelly, they've proved that they're really good coaches.
Yep.
Deion's proved it on the FCS ranks, but it's a little different.
A lot different. I mean? You know, it's a big step up. Big step up to go.
It's fucking
from the swag to the pack.
I haven't been this excited, and honestly, it's not even the Deion effect. It's the fact that the president opened up the checkbook.
Yeah,
and they changed their transfer portal rules because that tells me that they're finally realizing that hey, football is your cash cow. What made you so successful? You know, they were in the red financially.
Yeah,
for being a prestigious school, they don't spend very smartly. You know, so. I think they know that football can be their cash cow, and this is a good situation.
Well, if they invest properly and they hit the home run here, they went all in at the right time and got their guy.
Now I know Terrell says, well, how long will Deion last at Colorado? I think he'll last long enough.
Well, I mean, and until an SEC, but his contract right now is like $5 million with $8 million in incentives. You don't know, not many coaches are going much higher than 8 million right now. I mean, we know Tucker, Harbaugh, probably Saban are all in the $10 million range, you know, annually.
Tucker.
But
how's Tucker getting there?
All right. But that's the thing. It's like a Big Ten team will pay that. But will Colorado open the checkbook that much more?
Well, if they start winning, I can tell you just from online shit. I mean, there's a gigantic buzz about this. Colorado hasn't had a buzz like this, honestly, since like 2002.
Dude, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Has there ever been a more like magnetic, like attractive coach in the history of college football? I mean, Lane Kiffin obviously, you know, has the mojo that like players want to come play for him, but I don't think he's in the same stratosphere.
Dude, I think Deion could end up like, I don't know.
If they open up the checkbook,
dude, he could be like the fucking Fab Five. And I know D. Bettis is talking about this because, you know, Deion has a contract with Barstool.
Yeah.
And he's saying that Colorado will have new sick uniforms sponsored by Barstool in the chat right now. He's saying this. You know, I think he's having fun with this, but I mean, who knows? But Barstool does have a shit ton of money. Deion's connected to Barstool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, but all I know is to me, I'm super excited for the future of Colorado football, and I haven't been excited for a long fucking time.
Yeah. I mean, what is the potential for the Rocky Mountain, what do they call that? The Rocky Mountain Showdown
against CSU or
against Utah?
They call that one. Yeah.
Are you excited for that rivalry to gain traction? I know, obviously, in your heart.
I am, but obviously, well, we get, you know, that the first home game Deion coaches in Boulder next year.
What is it?
Nebraska, baby. For a minute, the world's going to be right again.
Talk about a home opener. I mean, you want to capture the hearts of Colorado fans. Win that bad boy right.
Talk about his first 3 games at TCU, week 1. Who passed on him to hire Dykes.
Yeah.
Then home,
not looking like a bad decision at this point.
Yeah, true. But I mean, home opener against Matt Rule. Obviously, the history of the rivalry.
Yeah.
Then week 3, thank you, Colorado State, and Colorado's back on.
Oh.
And guess who passed on Deion last year? Colorado State.
Oh man.
So you get a rival and two teams that passed on you. This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be fucking fantastic. Tom Herman was hired by Florida Atlantic, Patty C. You know, and I know we touched on this the other day. Willie Fritz turned down Georgia Tech, stay at Tulane. And Pete Thamel was writing an article saying that, you know, it makes a lot more sense maybe to stay at some of these group of fives than say take a middle of the road job in these power conferences.
Yeah.
When I heard Tom Herman was hired by Florida Atlantic, I said, you know what? He built that Houston thing pretty fast, right?
Yeah.
And shit.
I mean, with Cincy and UCF jumping ship to the group of 5 or to the Power 5, now the group of 5 is wide open to, who's going to be the most powerful conference moving forward. It was clearly the American before their departure. Obviously, the Mountain West was probably second in that pecking order.
There was years I thought the Mountain West was better, but they never got the credit. I always feel like the Mountain West didn't get the credit.
But they were interchangeable. In fact, Mountain West was probably better for longer.
Yeah, not this year though. This year the AAC was better than the Mountain West.
Yeah, but moving forward, Mountain West will probably be the best.
Yeah,
conference.
let's try to rank the top 5, group of 5 going forward.
So
so Houston, Cincy, BYU. Houston, Cincy, UCF, BYU, all gone.
BYU wasn't in a conference, but
still, they kind of were somehow qualified as maybe a mid-major
in that mix.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Boise State.
As far as best flagship school of a conference,
best school left in the group of 5. They had a disappointing year this year, but still 9 wins.
Yeah, they probably are the top group of 5 team left. Overall cachet, 20 years of evidence behind it.
After that, then it gets tricky. You got the momentum of what UTSA is building.
Yeah.
You got ECU, who I think benefits greatly.
Standings here.
ECU benefits greatly without all those other schools. Then Fresno State, I think you throw in there. San Diego State, Fresno State, all in that mix.
Could be. I mean, Air Force.
Yeah.
I can't really
FAU though, if they get going, I think FAU could be in that mix.
FAU, I mean, they got a long way to go, but
I'm just saying they're
South
down
Florida,
there. Tom Herman's a good coach.
Yeah, that's
Should have never got fired at Texas, if you ask me.
App State with Chadwell going Coastal.
The whole Sun Belt is one of the things that could really rise.
Yeah,
if Chadwell stays at Coastal, they could. I mean, next year they could be the top. I mean, I know next year's not the 12-team invitational. See what I did there?
Yeah.
12-team invitation.
Hello. He's already against it, folks.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. I told you this. I warned you. People are gonna be like, "You're not happy now." No, I said I would never be happy.
I'm gonna be happy. Yeah. I'm gonna be happy.
At least we'll have 5 auto bids.
Rest easy.
Right, or 6. We'll have 6 auto bids. Right?
I will be the person that
we'll have 6 auto bids, right?
Doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth. There will be 6 auto bids. Yeah.
Okay, so they got a little bit something going here.
Yes, growth, Colby. Appreciate growth.
Yeah.
You don't. What is it? Rome wasn't built overnight.
D. Bettis says, "Will ECU win the conference now that Cincinnati?" I mean, I think it's going to be. Well, UTSA is going to be in that mix. So UTSA, FAU, UAB just hired Trent Dilfer. That could, I guess, work out. Could not, but I would say
interesting hire for sure.
I would say coming into next year,
James Madison. Let's be fucking honest here, folks. Virginia's down. Virginia Tech's down. The state's wide open. We're magnetic.
Yeah. Honestly, going into next year blindly right now, obviously this could all change if Frank Harris transfers. I would probably put UTSA 1, ECU 2 in the AAC, right? Mm-hmm. I would say that's probably what the championship game would be.
What about Tulane?
Yeah, if Pratt stays. Once again, there's a chance that these guys get poached.
I mean, he's going to get poached to a modeling career. Let's be honest. Yeah.
but I will say the Sun. Okay, so look, that's your top 3. Okay, give or take.
Yeah.
Give or take. The Sun Belt, I have no idea. The Sun Belt is so good. I think it really has there was a game difference. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
I think App State could win it next year. I think South Alabama could win it next year. I think Troy. I think JMU. I think Coastal. I think Marshall.
Between the AAC and the Sun Belt, none of those teams are even a hair better than any of the others. They're all on the same level.
I think UTS. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Maybe
UTSA's had 2 good years. I'd like to see them do it week in, week out.
But Boise's above that. Boise hasn't had a disappointing this is their disappointing season, 9 wins.
Yeah, that's true. They're probably about a level above. And you could say Fresno historically for 30 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer. I didn't watch them before the 90s, but they've been good since back then.
Yeah, 80s they had Henry Ellard, Stephon Page, Stephen Baker. They were doing it. All right.
Look at that database.
So where do you put San Diego State in that mix? Same level as the Sun
San
Belt
Diego
teams,
State
right?
has the most potential of all of them.
Yeah.
But San Diego State, I mean, was supposedly going to get that Pac-12 invite. Whatever happened to that? I
still think it might happen. I heard Kliavkoff talking about it. I guess they have to lock in their TV deal before he thinks about expansion.
Okay.
So that's the plan there.
I would think that would be the obviously highest ceiling team out there,
South Florida hired a new head coach today, Patty C.
What about Memphis?
They went with Silverchild again, though. I think this is hurting them right now. They should have been talking to Deion too.
Yeah, they should have been. But they have also as high a ceiling as
because they have Liberty or not Liberty money, FedEx money.
and not quite as high a ceiling as San Diego, probably, but pretty close. Probably close.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting though. In a way, I think you can make a case that if you're UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston, you kind of wish you weren't going now.
Yeah,
Because they agreed, and then they went to 12.
yeah, you would have been the six
UCF
qualifying
would be in the
conference.
mix every year, every fucking year.
UCF,
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at the past 5 years.
And not to mention, it's not 5 automatic qualifying bids for the Power 5 and then 1 for the Group of 5. Some years, the Pac-12 or the Big 12 might be down, and you might have 2 Group of 5 teams ranked higher.
I mean, it should have been the ACC this year, but
could have been the ACC. I mean, Clemson did all right at the end.
Either way, Patty C, what are you looking forward to most about the playoff / bowl games?
Let's see. I mean, the projections right now, assuming that our playoff is correct, that it's Ohio State and Georgia and Michigan and TCU. Look, I'm a Michigan fan. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see them win the national championship. I would also love to see TCU win the national championship. I even like Georgia.
No, I got to root for TCU there. Michigan's out of conference schedule. I cannot root for a team that ducked,
that canceled their hardest out of conference. They're only hard out of conference.
And I love Jim Harbaugh. I'm a Jim Harbaugh fan. I love what Michigan's doing.
As big of a bitch move as you can make.
Yeah. I just can't. I got to root for TCU in that matchup.
Fair. And I would love that too.
Now after that, I root for Michigan.
I would love right
because the other unless I don't know. I hate every other.
It
team.
would give me.
I don't hate Georgia, but
great satisfaction.
I just want to see a different pony.
Yeah, Well, I don't even. Georgia hasn't worn out their welcome with me yet. I
actually like, and I like Kirby Smart. He seems all right.
And Stetson Bennett's likable. You know,
dude. Even Lad McConkney, that fella, that lad. All right.
I wouldn't mind Georgia doing it again, but and look, Ohio State, whatever. They're not that dislikable of a team. We're just Ohio State haters. So because of my friend.
No. A lot of it all. Yeah. I mean, yes, your friend, but also
our friend Mickey talks a lot of shit, but he is a great friend.
But also, I mean, come on. They did benefit by having only one away game by fucking Halloween, dude. You cannot tell me that doesn't add into, like, was Saban saying the 5 away games today? I think there's merit there, right? But guess what, Saban? Every other fucking team that's not a blue blood has to do that every year.
Say that again.
Saban saying, "Oh, we had 5 away games."
Oh yeah.
It's well, welcome to fucking college football reality for every other team, not name Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, and Texas and Oklahoma.
For Pac-12 teams and Big 10 teams and Big 12 teams, that's 5 games in the conference, 5 road games in the conference schedule every other year.
Well,
every other year. You've got 9 conference games, 5 have to be on the road unless you have like a random neutral site game. Guess what? Let alone going non-conference on the road. That's a ridiculous statement for him.
No, yeah, it is. It really is. So you're most excited to see the Michigan potential to win the national championship.
I would love to see
TCU
beat Ohio State if that were to happen.
Yeah.
2014 revenge. 9 years in the making now.
I just saw an article that really seems awesome to me. This is off topic. Granada Hills Charter, California.
Yeah.
Tied the bow on their 11-2 season with a CIF LA City Section Division I championship without throwing a pass.
The whole game or the whole season?
Football is back, baby.
That's what
all season. It did it without completing a pass all season long. Fuck yeah.
That's beautiful.
I'm telling you, buddy.
It's
easy to see a tide turn.
Someone's already done it, apparently.
There we go.
Won the state.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes, the run game was dynamic. All right, Daryl Stanley had almost 1,200 yards rushing. There we go.
They won the state championship and they're without ever throwing a pass, and their top rusher had only 1,200 yards. That is
no. In total, Granada Hills rushed for 5,412 yards, 416.3 yards per game, 75 touchdowns.
Just pounding the rock.
Football is back.
Where is Granada Hills? We might have to go catch.
I might have to go to. I don't know. It sounds like every spot in California.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, there's Granada Hills.
Yeah.
Watch it be like by San Francisco. I think it's like a block away. Patty C, come on, let's talk a little bit here. What bowl matchups? I mean, you're the one that loves these bowl games. I want to see a Kentucky team without Will Levis
supposedly we're getting Tennessee versus Clemson in the very, very Orange Bowl.
DJU is going to be gone. How about that? They went with Klubnik, and he looked way better than DJU. I think DJU just
hit the transfer portal.
That's another thing, though. With all these guys hitting the portal, they're not going to be playing in their games, dude. Like Mississippi State's top wideout, portal. Mississippi State's supposed to play a bowl game.
Yeah.
They got to push this portal date back.
Yeah.
So the
players play.
Everyone's going to be out.
They got to push the portal date back, and bowl games, like you said, have to get on board with the NIL and start paying some of these stars to, stick it out and play the extra game. Make it worth their while.
The thought of seeing like Kentucky wasn't a good football team really with Will Levis. Now you're telling me we're going to watch. Well, I saw one game without Will Levis. They got housed by South Carolina. They had I feel like 20 yards passing.
Yeah.
I do like the run attack. Chris Rodriguez, he probably sits out too.
He's a
I bet.
beast.
He probably
Underrated.
sits out too.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Let's talk a little FC. Oh, Carson Steele's in the portal.
Let's hammer these. Yeah. Penn State, Utah. It's a good game. Good game. Kyle Whittingham getting that Rose Bowl win. That's a signature moment for Utah. That is their official what's the word I'm looking for? Ceremony as a true Pac-12 power. And proving they belong, and it was a good move by the Pac-12 to get them if they can get that done. Either way,
fucking great.
They have already proven that, but that would be the bow on it. Cherry on top. Tulane versus USC in the Cotton Bowl.
It's just I'm assuming Caleb Williams isn't going to play.
Yeah, USC.
I'm assuming Jordan Addison's not going to play because he's going to go to the NFL. They said he's going to come out. So
I mean, and USC fans will not be excited for that. Of course, Tulane fans will be excited for that. If they do manage to screw TCU, they'll end up in the Cotton Bowl, which will be a home game. So at least the crowd will be, there, but they'll be disappointed, obviously. I don't know. That game's not that exciting, but I'm excited for Tulane, and I'm excited for that because they are kind of at a position as a team in a big city, New Orleans, that could be the flagship program or one of the flagship programs of the American moving forward. With all those other teams leaving, they say, fuck you. Yeah. We're the best team by the time you guys left. Yeah. And actually, you know what? We're really good because we can beat USC. That would be cool.
It would be cool. But once again, if USC is starting, I don't know. I think the actual most appealing bowl games are going to be like that fucking one in the Bahamas where, the whole team's playing for Toledo or the whole team's playing for Eastern Michigan against the whole team playing for, I don't know, somebody UTEP or something,
sure. Or JMU. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Okay. The NCAA's crooks.
How about Alabama, Kansas State?
Is Bryce Young playing?
You would have to hope so, but probably not. I didn't realize he was.
Yeah, he's coming out this year.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. So I would imagine he's not playing. If he doesn't get in the playoffs, he's not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's their backup? Do we even
that guy who came in the Arkansas game? I don't know his name right now.
Yeah, I haven't been paying enough attention.
Does Jahmyr Gibbs play?
It's a good question.
That's what I'm saying. All these matchups suck. You have to dig deep. You have to find the fucking Cool Ranch Dorito Bowl. Shit like that. That actually is okay.
No, it'll be satisfying though if Kansas State's able to upset Alabama.
No,
whether it's true
Kansas
or not.
State played LSU last year, and LSU had 30 guys out. They all hit the portal. Kansas State destroyed them, but it's bittersweet.
Yeah, I mean when the SEC fans claim they didn't want to be there, when they're not actually there, they might have a point.
Honestly, that's why you got to go larger than 12. Because even with 12, you know how many shitty bowl games are still going to be? It's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
they got to step up in the NIL. That's the only solution to get out of that.
Yeah.
But even that, the portal,
dangle the carrot.
I mean, the portal, we're seeing people hit the portal right now. Tons of people.
Yeah, they need to fix that too.
So not only will you have players sitting out, you're gonna have players sitting out because they want to go to a new team.
Is it so friggin' hard for college football to get this shit figured out?
It's unbelievable. Patty C, the FCS playoffs happened today. Holy Cross, the Crusaders, 35, New Hampshire, 19.
Beautiful.
How fantastic!
Northeast football.
They're 12-0, buddy. But now they have to head to Brookings, South Dakota. Furman got upset by. Did you see this pass by Lindsey Scott today? Oh my God!
Wait,
Incarnate Words quarterback Lindsey Scott.
What did he do? Was that to win?
No, he had a great pass to win too, but he had he was falling down kind of a no look where he knew where the receiver would be. Pretty unbelievable.
Incarnate Word still able to move.
Well, their
that
head
ball.
coach just took the Texas State job. However, he's coaching through the playoffs. Shout out to him.
Look at that.
See, Brian Kelly, you can learn something.
It is possible.
Gardner Webb got housed by William and Mary 54-14.
Boom. Mike London's tribe, the Indians, let's be honest, pretty darn impressive. A 50 burger,
40-point win
in the playoffs.
South Dakota State 42, Delaware 6. I know Delaware starting quarterback got knocked out, I think, the first drive. But that is a
Jackrabbits,
true ass whooping.
Yeah, looking very much the part of the 1 seed.
True ass whooping there. Weber State lost to Montana State 33-25. Montana State gets it done by 8. They actually covered.
Good game.
Samford beats Southeast Louisiana in overtime. That was a great game.
That was a shootout back and forth. That was in the elements too, right? I believe.
I think a little bit of rain maybe there.
Maybe I could be mistaken.
Montana 26, North Dakota State 49. The Bison turned it on late.
Oh boy, did they ever.
Richmond, Sacramento State. This was
that was a hell of a game.
Yeah, Sacramento State wins by 7. Great game there.
It's bittersweet because I was hoping for a Richmond William and Mary Mike London bowl there, but we also love
I like what Sacramento State's doing. Let's go.
We talked about we're pretty sure there hasn't been a FCS champion from the state of California. Getting FCS,
at least, I mean, you might have to go back to the 70s or 80s or something.
I mean, I think it started in the late 70s. I don't think there's ever been an FCS champion.
Okay.
And that would be really such a huge thing for the state of California because they don't have good FCS football here.
San Diego made the playoffs a lot with Harbaugh or with
Cal Poly sucks. Right?
They've sucked for a while, but they used to be good. I feel
okay.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if like California, I mean,
yeah, it'd be cool if like all their programs came back because they had this movement in the early 2000s and late 90s to just destroy all their football programs.
Think about the fact that California, I was looking at the state populations today. California has 39 million, New York 29 million, which is also a travesty that they don't have good football.
Yeah.
But Florida has 21 million. That's almost like California has almost twice as many people as
think
Florida.
Think about all the programs that have gone by the wayside since like the 90s.
Yeah.
Whether it's Pacific University in Stockton, whether it's Long Beach State, whether it's Cal State Fullerton, whether it's Cal State Northridge, UC Riverside, Azusa Pacific.
Man.
Where's Larry Allen? Sonoma State.
All had football squads.
Yeah. What's the Humboldt State? San Francisco, St. Mary's, UC Santa Barbara. All those used to have football squads. They got rid of them.
UC
Terrible.
Davis actually has a decent squad. So they do
Hawkins,
have a couple. Yeah. Who is Santa Monica College?
Santa Monica had Ojo Cinco and Steve Smith at the same time.
And they're not even FCS,
insane.
Right? Aren't they like NAIA or some shit?
Dude, I was thinking we should go to a game. It's right by the house.
We should.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen. But Sac State, we mentioned very similar logo to the Sacramento Surge of
the OG World League, man.
World League of Football.
The OG World League.
Right. You got to root for that team.
Yeah. Cal State Bakersfield, that's another one.
There you go.
There's a lot, man. There's a lot. You look into it.
Now, with the remaining teams we got next week, I know we're going to hit this. I don't want to know who you're rooting for, not your predictions. South Dakota State or Holy Cross?
Holy Cross.
All the way, baby.
Yeah.
Crusaders.
Let's go Crusaders. It's going to be a tough spot, though. That's a Friday game, right? No. That's a Saturday game.
Yeah, it doesn't say on this.
I got it here. It's a Saturday
gotcha.
game. Yeah.
William and Mary travels to Montana State.
That's a Saturday game.
4 versus 5.
Let's go Tribe.
I'm all over the Tribe.
Let's go Tribe.
All right. Then we got North Dakota State and Samford.
Obviously, Samford. Come on.
Yeah, I've seen enough of North Dakota State.
I can't support dome football, even though their uniforms are fantastic.
I mean, come on, I still love North Dakota State.
Me too. They just need to jump up. Just need to jump up.
Let's go. And Incarnate Word or Sac State.
See, there's this win-win situation. I like the story of the coach staying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I like that story.
Or you like California football.
Or I like what Sac State's doing. Yeah.
And you mentioned it specifically. That's one of the bigger cities, I guess.
The capital of fucking California, man.
Right. You would think if there's a city that could support a team that's not going to have an FBS team.
They went out to support the Sacramento Kings. They got fucked by David Stern bullshit. All right. They didn't realize that every small market NBA team's doomed.
Right. they're
this is
still
their
diehard.
opportunity because there's a real playoff on this level. They don't. If they win FBS, then it would be the same situation, almost like with the Sacramento Kings. But they're FCS. They can capitalize on.
Yeah, they're in the same boat as everyone else.
Yeah, they have a real playoff. They can be there every year. Continue to invest in it. Get some of that Vlade Divac money, and let's go.
And they're the Hornets. So
let's go. All right, folks. We'll be back. We got Army Navy next week. We got FCS playoffs. We'll be back talking ball games. And obviously, big news tomorrow. And obviously, with Cincinnati's coaching vacancy still not filled.
I mean,
what teams do we have?
Tulsa, I don't know
still
anything
not
about
filled.
Gino Guiduglio or whatever his
Used
name.
to play quarterback there. I watched him play quarterback.
Okay, I'm just saying, maybe he's a Dabo Swinney, maybe he's a David Shaw type, but I don't know enough about him to be excited about that hire yet.
Wait, they hired him?
No,
is it official?
But he's on the short list with Kerry Coombs, who's like 65 years old and just got fired from Ohio State last year for not being up to the job. You know, or maybe it was 2 years ago. But
what about South Florida hired what's the OC from Tennessee's name again?
South Florida. Oh, Alex Golesh.
Yeah, so
they were the number one scoring and total offense team in the country.
I want to talk about that. That's gonna be fun. That they're gonna have a new rivalry, I guess, with FAU.
Yeah,
because they're both being the AAC.
Thing about Levy, I don't know what he had done and whether he was a dynamic coordinator or whatever before teaming up with Heupel for one season at UCF, but he took that offense to Ole Miss and had great success, obviously, and then has had pretty good success. Obviously, they're getting it going at Oklahoma now. You think he's a damn good coordinator, Levy, right?
I mean, I hate that offense,
but you think
it's successful.
It's successful. And 3 years in that offense.
I hate that little bitch quarterback shit they do. You know this. You're trying to get me angry.
Little bitch slides.
Right? You're trying to get me angry.
But they light up. I mean, the number one offense in the country. I mean, for USF to score that coordinator is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And if they can get some of that South Florida talent, holy shit.
Patty C. Yeah. I mean, so the Tulsa vacancy, UNLV vacancy, Stanford vacancy, Cincinnati. We will be back with those. Once things, I expect a lot of them to happen this weekend. So
I mean, since he was supposed to wrap it up this weekend, so
yeah.
Tomorrow's a big
the portal
day.
Opens on Monday. Chaos. Patty C. D2 playoffs. Championship game is set. Shepherd beat the shit out of the 1 seed Indiana PA.
Nice.
48-13, and Ferris State beat the 1 seed, not beat the shit out of Grand Valley State. They beat them 24-21.
Ferris State with those the sweet German uniforms.
Shepherd, Ferris State national championship. I'm excited. Then you got the D3 national championship, Patty C, going on. Wartburg is taking on North Central. They both won today. Wartburg beat Aurora. North Central beat Ithaca. And guess what, Patty C? Well, North Central was a 1 seed on their side of the bracket, but I can tell you this: Wartburg was certainly not on their other side of the bracket. Wartburg was a 4 seed on that side of the bracket.
Right.
So that means, it's funny. What can happen in a large playoff?
A little Cinderella.
Funny what can happen in a large
not
playoff.
Always the least entertaining thing to watch. Sometimes it's fun to have a little team make a run here.
Yeah, let's go. Folks, we'll be back. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. I got to do a college basketball episode in like 45 minutes. Come back. We're talking hoops. It's great. Great time of year. Thank you for rocking with us. And excited to bring you the Bulls and all the bullshit coming forward and the hires and the invitational and the portal. Carson Lexington Steele is in the portal. Maybe Deion goes for Lexington Steele. You think?
It's weird. It's getting weird here.
Anyway, subscribe. Give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Patty C's on Twitter, Patty C831. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. Give us a follow. And check out the Sports Gambling Podcast and keep rocking. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Please, come on. Get over there and do the damn thing. And what else do we got, Patty C? Check out the NFL Gambling Podcast. Check out the College Basketball Experience, the College Baseball Experience, the NHL Gambling Podcast, the NBA Gambling Podcast, the whole platform. Get the SGPN app from the App Store or Google Play Store. Until then, keep on rocking. This is the College Football Experience reaction show. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Think about this and that. She said that I don't want to do. little bit of turn down black. Pump it up when you don't really need it. Pump it up until you can't feel it.